Okay.
All right. You started. I just followed your lead.
Prove
here.
it.
You just.
What's up, everybody?
Yo, what's going on? It's Chase and Kobe, the RMFantasy SXperts. Welcome back for Thursday's show for Oakland. Back to the West Coast, which means West Coast 250 Supercross.
Yes, sir.
Going to be this weekend. So we get to see Jet again.
J-Law just dominating.
Has Jet won all the rounds so far?
No. That was did he take the overall for
No.
that Triple Crown? He hasn't won.
Kitchen won that because Jet never.
Yep. So
there goes that perfect season.
He doesn't have a perfect season.
I know. I was kind of actually hoping it would happen.
I was hoping for a Lawrence 250
We'd have to dig in the archives, but has there ever been a perfect 250 season? James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, back in the lights days?
Perhaps. So this is 450 SXperts. That's what we care about. Anyways, welcome, everybody. We got Oakland this weekend. I saw some talk about some bad weather, but I think we're in the clear. According to my search, I think we're in the clear, luckily.
Nice. We got some nasty weather coming in here.
Yeah, us, unfortunately, not so much.
Oh, dude, did you? Ooh, okay. So Shadow just said Hunter is better. I'm assuming he means Jet.
Hunter is better.
Is better than Jet. If you had to put the Lawrence brothers together right now today, who would you pick?
I mean, Blair points it out all the time. Hunter has the upper hand with the shootouts. Whenever they've gone against each other, Hunter's won every time, which is interesting. I'm pretty sure.
No, because remember Salt Lake Supercross, I think like 2 or 3 years ago, Jet won, and then Hunter made that last late pass on McAdoo for third. So they were on the podium.
What one? It was Atlanta, right? They had that other one. Hunter took that one for sure.
But either way.
But today's day and age.
Hunter's looking good.
He is, but I'd probably still give it to Jet, unfortunately.
I just think, honestly, I think Hunter has silenced any of the critics
without a doubt,
thought that Jet was the better rider and that Hunter only had his ride because they didn't want to separate the two brothers.
Was that really? Did anybody really think that?
Well, I mean, it was like the Red Bull deal, right? Yeah. Jet got the Red Bull deal, Hunter didn't, and then they gave it to Hunter, and everyone was like, oh, they did it just because it felt bad. But at this stage, it's like, no, Hunter, in my opinion, is every bit, and Jet's not going to race 250 outdoors. Hunter is. I mean, yeah.
The 250 outdoor championship is Hunter's to lose.
I just think Hunter, honestly, as a rider, maturity-wise, I just don't think he makes some of the mistakes that Jet does a little bit.
We're going to find out. I can't remember when that shootout is, but
yeah,
it's going to be a fun one. But anyways, back to our relevant stuff with the 450s. Again, Oakland this weekend. We were just looking at the track map a little bit. We'll get it pulled up here in a minute. We got some stuff to cover first. Let's go over our prizes. What you got? You point your finger.
Well, I was going to say real quick. So Rachel, the girl that selects winners for the Supercross tickets, she said that she's only had 2 out of 6 people respond on Monday's show.
So if you left a comment asking for tickets, go double check. You very well could have been a winner.
Yeah.
We've got 4 winners that haven't responded yet. And if you don't respond soon, they're going to be somebody else.
Yeah, she's going to ask somebody else.
So if you were involved in that, please go double check.
Oh, another good announcement before we do prizes. Steward Baylor.
Yes, sir.
One of the most interesting men to ride a dirt bike.
Yep.
Is calling in today. And he's
Rocky
big team
Mountain
deal
Zone.
this year. Yeah, he's on our team.
I am so excited for that team.
Kobe and I are trying to figure out a way to weasel our way into a GNCC race, so we'll see how we can do that.
Weasel our way.
Maybe we ask him, hey, dude, what's the best race? First timer, what's the must-go-to track?
I've heard from all our Ticket to Ride guys, most of the GNCC people, they love the Ironman. Okay. Ironman is always recommended. There was another one. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's ask him. Okay, I want to know his recommendation. Anyways,
all right.
Yeah,
all right.
Stu, so stay tuned in for that.
Yes. All right. Weekly prizes. Levi, let's get them up on the board here. This is what is up for grabs this week. So 7 spending spree, $500. Got a Cherubies, FMF, Fly gear set, Bridgestone Battlecross tires, Fox Roller shuttle bag, Rhino Power package, Scosh, Scott, Torque One Racing. Those are the weekly prizes plus the 90 Rocky Mountain gift cards.
And grand prizes with you. Wait, have we talked about that? These are here. You saw these bikes.
This is
these
the
bikes
earliest.
Are in our stable.
Yeah, every day when Kobe and I walk into work, ladies and gentlemen, we walk past these motorcycles.
They are clean.
They are.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the progress with getting them fully race prepped. But that's what's up for grabs for our grand prize podium. We got Stasic in 4th. Our own Rocky Mountain in 5th, Alpine Stars in 6th, Motion Pro, Fly, Oakley, and the Milestone video game prize pack in 10th. So no shortage of prizes.
Yeah, big. And again, if you guys want to show love, if you go to the RM Fantasy webpage. If you're going to make an order on Rocky Mountain, if you go to the RM Fantasy webpage and you click the links there, that kind of helps us track that people are going to that website using that.
Absolutely.
And that's information that we give to the sponsors. So, hey, if you're going to make purchases, it always helps out just to use that page just so people see like, okay, cool, people are visiting the page or using the link. So if you remember,
Please
do that
do.
because it helps us out a little bit. All right, so going into this weekend in Oakland, let's see here. So remember, as the results from last week, we had Webb, Sexton, Plessinger, Roxon, Tomac, Josh Hill at the wild card.
Josh Hill, not Justin Hill.
Did I say Justin?
No, you said it correctly, but wow, was that a mix-up?
Okay.
A little frustrating for some people.
Riders out this weekend. Marv's still out.
Mookie.
Sorry. Forgetting the name. Who's our fanboy? Marv fanboy. Somebody's going to bring it up in chat. Remind me, everybody.
Aqua.
Aquaman or Aqua.
Why are we both blanking this?
Terra Firma, Aqua something.
Yeah, Christian's just behind the scenes going, screaming his name. If you're here, please.
Aquatic.
correct us. Aquatic.
Look at how many people threw it out there.
Thank you.
So Marv's out. Malcolm
SXperts.
Stewart. Dylan Ferrandis.
He was just on.
I haven't seen any
He
updates.
just had a concussion.
He's on concussion protocol?
That's all I was aware of. So
Okay.
maybe he'll be back here soon. I think Stewart and Muscan are out for the long haul.
Yeah.
But,
Mookie just had his surgery.
and switching back to the West Coast, Faulkner is probably our main 250 guy that's out. I don't know of any other 250 injuries. But
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's all we got for injuries. All right. Roll it, Levi. Let's get the track trends up here.
The track map up there. You had an interesting. We were talking about before that first point you've got on here. 6 out of 14 winners in Oakland.
I think this was Christian dropping in one of the stats
Okay.
here.
Thank
And
you,
so
Christian.
If I'm interpreting this correctly, he is saying that 6 out of the last 14 winners of the championship have won Oakland, and including 3 of the last 4 rounds there.
Yeah.
So 3 of the last 4 champions won Oakland.
Mhm.
Interesting.
when it was obviously held there, which is crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
And 3 out of the last 4, the one that it wasn't out of that last 4 was last year. Jason took that.
Oh, that's right. Anna won it. Okay.
So that's just.
But throw that back up there, Levi, real quick. So here's what I noticed. You have a couple whoop sections. Oakland dirt.
Start.
Yeah.
That's
The start's the biggest thing I'm looking at. And I feel like that this weekend, heat races are going to be crucial because you got to be on the inside of that doghouse because it's a full 180 turn.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are on the outside of that doghouse, you're going to get pushed wide.
Therefore, qualifying I feel is super relevant.
Exactly.
Too. So it's going, stemming all the way from the bottom. If you're
Gotta
not
get a good
qualifying
gate pick for heats.
it just goes all the way to the main.
It's a really short start, and if you're not on the inside, you're gonna get pushed wide, and then next thing you know, dudes are gonna squeeze around the inside, and
it's not a long enough rhythm afterwards to like make up that time because sometimes it works out because then you can block pass into that following.
But you're gonna make that left, and then short
game
rhythm,
over.
and then you're balled up again.
Yeah.
And that next right-hander, meanwhile, the guys that are, top 3 or 4.
They're in their hip jump, whatever this is.
Yeah, they're already up to that 90.
Point.
So interesting. Though that's a really long, if you think about it, really long
they're
rhythm.
Jumping forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
It just keeps going.
But although they're jumping forever, I'm seeing tons of bowl turns, which I like. That's a lot of opportunities for passing,
2,
hopefully.
3, 4, 5. Yeah, plenty. I don't know. Looks like a cool racetrack.
They've been
killing
it this year. I've loved every single track.
And that rhythm lane just before the finish line looks big. So
no sand. They finally gave them a break.
It's Oakland.
What can you do?
Florida makes sense.
Yep.
You're on the beach. In Tampa, throw some sand in there. Which I like the sand.
It's refreshing to change it up.
A Cooper Webb track, says Mike Dunlap.
With 2 whoop sections.
Cooper. Honestly, he's been surprising in the whoops this year.
He hasn't been bad, that's for sure.
Like, he hasn't jumped them.
Better than...
We've seen more riders.
Until he had the first place spot locked, he wasn't jumping on.
Yeah.
But that's smart racing. That was smart racing.
Hey, I just noticed your wireless mouse, dude.
You like that?
Yeah,
you're
you've been
bougie.
struggling lately.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, what do you guys think about the track? I agree, Curtis. He's never looked better in the whoops.
Yeah,
Okay.
Who do you think this track caters to most? I think it's our good starters. I think it's just those top 2, Sexton and Tomac. I think this is their track.
Okay.
Their weekend to lose.
Interesting. Let's see here. All right. Let's throw it up here, Levi. First chart here. Best starters in the game.
Speaking of starters.
This is going to be important here.
Yep.
Okay.
So like we just mentioned, Sexton, Tomac. Sexton is running away with that almost. It was pretty tight, but Sexton is just gapping Tomac on a lot of stats.
Oh, wait, is this triple? Oh, this isn't a Triple Crown, is it? Is Oakland Triple Crown?
It's mains and Triple Crowns included.
Oh, okay. So we're including every single gate drop in this?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
But it is not a Triple Crown race.
No.
Just clarifying that to everybody.
3.14 for Sexton. Tomac's 4. Roxon, Webb. Interesting. Anderson's back there in 6th.
Yeah, his starts have just...
The one rider who's on fire that I'm a little concerned with, but we'll see, is Plessinger, just because his qualifying, we'll talk about that here, hasn't been the greatest. He's not known for qualifying. Okay? Finishers in the game, who's got the best finishing average? It's still got to be Tomac, right? Well, no, I think
Sexton's running away with
2.83.
Yep.
Wow. What's crazy, though, is he's won one race at Tomac's 3.
Yep.
And Tomac has a worse...
But Sexton hasn't had a race outside the top 5. Tomac has
It's
had one. That's the overall from...
I know, but it's crazy to me that Sexton, who has crashed in almost every night
Still
show,
has the best finishing average.
and he's only won one race.
6th place hurts. It takes it down, obviously.
Well, Sexton's gotten 5th. Yeah, it's just so kind of crazy. Webb, which kind of surprised. Webb, dude, he's just in there. Like he hasn't done. He's won a race. Hasn't done anything too spectacular. He's only led 5 laps. We'll talk about that.
He won a race.
But yet he's 3rd in the points. Okay. Man, when's Anderson going to win?
If he doesn't do it this weekend, I don't know.
Jeez.
Cooper, Justin Cooper's he's impressed. I didn't get any confirmation that he is racing this weekend though.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just look for him in qualifying.
Yep.
Okay. Well, with that being said, Steward Baylor's going to be on the phone here in about 5-10 minutes, so we'll get him on. Is that Tomac's plate right there?
Yep. Should be.
Yeah, let's get into top contenders here.
Okay.
So let's do Tomac first. Does he bounce back?
Down. I think so. Unless I see something super concerning in qualifying, like outside the top 5, I think he bounces back. But overall finishes so far this year have been 1-1-6, 1-5. I just think he would. It seems like he's bounced back. Even in past seasons, he's bounced back after these rough weekends.
He hasn't finished 2nd or 3rd yet. It's
No.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, like you got there, either win or bust.
bust.
Yep.
Let's see. He's won twice in Oakland and 6 trips there. He's the fastest qualifier there.
Which he doesn't do a ton. He's not a huge qualifying guy.
But
he's
here's the
fast
thing,
enough qualifying guy.
He's been really good off the gate. Last week, he was P7 after lap 1, and that's his worst start in 7 gate drops. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
But again, I also didn't get confirmation, couldn't find anything if he was truly sick or not. But that was something that we were talking about a lot on Monday.
Yeah.
Tomac might have been a little bit under the weather, not feeling 100%, which could definitely affect race night. So
something kind of interesting that I found out, because I know people are always looking at Tomac because he's qualified first so many times. You always look at Tomac, and if he's 3rd or 4th, you're like, something must be off with Tomac. I looked at last year. Of his 7 wins last year, he only went P1 twice.
okay.
So I'm just saying, if Tomac's like 3rd to 5th in qualifying,
Still could easily.
don't freak out about being like, oh my gosh, he's having another off night or something like
sure.
that. I wouldn't stress out too much. And he's only one back from RC, really,
Yeah, that was true last weekend even.
which is
but
what, 48,
obviously
and James Stewart has 50.
I don't know the exact number.
Gotta remember.
But yeah, he's coming after James right after. So
Okay,
see if
jeez.
he checks that one off this week. Let's get into
Sexton?
Sexton.
What do we
Dig,
do
dig,
with
dig.
this man?
It's tough. You definitely put him in your top 5, right? But do you put him to win? That's the question.
I don't know. Maybe it's a question for Stu.
Stu, is he ready?
He will be here in just a second.
Very good.
I don't know, man. Like, he's crashed in almost every race. And this is including outdoors last year when he crashed in the lead at Colorado. This is like 3 or 4 times that he has literally crashed at the end of a race and thrown it away.
It's almost expected now.
And he's gone down. He went down at A1. He went down in the Triple Crown. He's gone down in almost every race. But he's always the fastest guy qualifying. So I don't know. He hasn't finished worse than 2nd the last 3 races. He hasn't finished outside the top 5 all year. So, yeah, he's going to be in your top 5. What's crazy, though, his average lap position is better than Tomac. Again, shout out Dr. JB, and we're going to show this chart here in a moment. His average lap position is better than Tomac on lap 1, 5, and 10, which just means that he throws it away later in the race because Tomac's better on laps 15 and 20.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know.
He did catch up a lot of laps led. Again, it's not a matter of does he have the speed. We all know. It's just, can you trust him to get it all together?
Yeah.
And here's where I'm at. Until he proves us otherwise, I don't want to put him up there, but then I'm going to be super bummed the night that he finally does it.
Is it too soon to say it's kind of reminiscent of when Tomac was always better? And I don't want to say Sexton's better than Tomac, I think on any given night, but when Tomac was clearly the guy for, say, 2 or 3 years behind Dungey, but just could never figure it out for an entire year.
People forget.
Tomac's been there.
Yep, he has been there.
Okay.
But maybe that's what it takes. Maybe it's still not this year. Maybe it's
Well, I'll tell you what, when he does
2
figure
more
it out,
years.
look out. Okay, Jason Anderson.
We've actually got Stu on the line.
He's ready.
All right. Well, with that being said, he is the most interesting man on 2 wheels. The dad bod is going strong. You probably saw this guy ripping off a shirt down in where was that race?
Which race?
Down south somewhere.
You have to ask him.
Stu was hot, took his shirt off. Anyway, Steward Baylor, everybody, say hello to this man, a GNCC icon.
Yes, sir.
How we doing?
I'm doing good. I got the teammate with me. We're headed up to the track this weekend, getting ready to get the Rocky Mountain pit set up for the GNCC.
Awesome.
Where is it at this weekend?
It's going to start in South Carolina, the Big Buck. It's one of our largest events, and we're expecting, I think, 2,500 racers for the last time we raced here.
Your entry numbers for GNCCs are ridiculous. They are. I just, with how little riding as far as public access you guys have out there, that kind of leads into the high number
that's
for
probably
race
why.
entries, right?
It's tough. We have so many local series. There is plenty of places for people to go, but the GNCCs have kind of set themselves aside from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It obviously it's Racer Productions and with Pro Motocross, their involvement in Supercross, everything that they've had and done for the sport over the years, they just know how to draw a crowd. And when I was a kid, I can remember sitting on the line and them talking about how we had just got over 1,000 riders, and they were so stoked on that. And now I'm looking back, and it's like, man, we thought 1,000 riders was a lot. Now we're approaching 3,000 at Ironman and almost 20,000 in the parking lot. So just exploding.
So Kobe and I are trying to weasel our way to be able to go over and do a GNCC somehow. What round would you tell us to do? If you could say for your first time, what's the best track to do? Ben's right there. Ask him too. What does he think?
All right. So this is coming from that. Actually, that would be way better because he's a moto background.
Okay.
So coming from the West Coast, you guys would probably prefer his input than mine. What are you thinking, Ben?
For a moto, I would do a Camp Coker.
Camp Coker?
Camp Coker.
So Coker's good. It's an old motocross facility. It's got a good sand mix. It's going to be rough. By the second hour, you're just going to want to ride your bike into a tree.
That's what I was going to get to. What do you do for endurance training? 3-hour races. Our pro races out here in the West are usually 2 hours.
Yeah,
max.
works.
Yeah, with works. But 3 hours. How do you prepare yourself?
You're not
for
doing
that?
3-hour motos, or are you?
Yeah.
No, so I try to keep my riding down. We do a lot of volume during the week, but day to day, I try to keep it under an hour and a half of seat time a day, just mainly because of entries. Now we have some longer days, and we try to work a lot of speed because at a GNCC, it's more consistency pays off. So if you can ride at 90% and nail all your marks and train your mind to see those lines as they develop and never get tangled with lappers, that's how you put together a good race. If you get a little sporadic and ride it like a 2-hour race where you push the line of is it gonna make it, or am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it past this lapper? That's where you start to see those big mistakes. And for us, like a lot of speed drills and a lot of high intensity and a lot of control drills. So it's like one or the other. Our speed and intensity days are usually fairly short. Our control drills will go a little bit longer, and it's really just repetition and reading new lines. We train at my facility. We train with 20 or 30 kids on the track, so we're used to lappers, and we ride the tracks when they're absolutely hammered. GNCC, like I said, it's that 90%. Like how fast can you go before you know you're not going to make it 3 hours? And riding those smoother lines, finding those edges. So when we're training, we're trying to work on missing some of those bumps and just making it easier as a rider to last that long. Like little things, the differences in motocross and what we do, like the intensity level is obviously slightly different, but where we'll sit down into something, a motocross, supercross guy is going to stand up to soak it up and drive through it, but they're wasting more energy. So, it's just about finding that balance of how much energy can you waste, how much energy can you save.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome info for any racer. How long did it take you to kind of figure out that, I don't know, that mindset? Did you come, I want to know somewhat of your background. Were you a moto guy? Have you always been off-road? What's the learning curve been like?
Off-road.
Okay.
I grew up facing tight trees, and when I went to the pro class, I was young and fast, and it took me probably 4 or 5 years to really find my own. I mean, it's kind of like looking at a Chase Sexton like right now. I mean, he's super fast. He's the guy that you would pick, but he just doesn't have it when it comes to certain things. And it may be a lapper, like you look at a guy like Tomac who's lapped 1,000 guys at this point. He's never going to make a mistake. He doesn't put himself in a bad position to run into a lapper, where Sexton may change his line due to that lapper. He doesn't set it up 3 turns in advance. And, that's for me, probably 6 years. I would say it took I might be a bit more bullheaded than the rest. It took me a little longer. I might be a slow learner, but, when you're fast, all you know is speed. And a couple injuries come, and then you kind of reconfigure what you're doing. And that's where I learned, finding those good lines. How can I save myself? What can I do differently? A lot of weightlifting, rather than cardio. Like the moves that we use are a little more explosive, and I find my endurance more there. So just building the program took a little bit longer. Like I said, I might be a little bit of a slow learner, but we got to figure it out after a while.
It sounds like it.
Question for you. I'm wondering if you've ever been in a position like Christian Craig is in right now, where he's a veteran in the sport, obviously rookie year in the 450 class. What do you think is going through his mind when he's probably beating Coop and Plessinger on several days of the track, but he's getting lapped at the end of a race in 10th? Do you think that is just mentally have you ever been in that position where you're just I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm getting my butt kicked by dudes that I know I can beat?
Yeah, so the format that I race, obviously different than motocross, supercross, is we're all on the track at the same time. So when I was in XC2, our 250 pro class, I was top 3 overall. I was physically catching and passing the guys that were on the podium in the 450 class. So I knew I had the speed. I knew I was faster. When I moved to XC1, I was an 8th or 9th place guy. And it's a few different things. Obviously everybody discusses racing being mental. I would say that if it was one thing in particular, that would be the main thing, is when you line up and you're going to win in the 250 pro class, you just have a different head on your shoulders. When you line up and you look to your left and your right and you realize that you've made it and you're with the best of the best, the guys that you sought after their career, and now you've got to race them, you line up differently. You line up with not necessarily a fear, but it's something similar. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like you don't trust that you are the number one guy. And if I had to put anything on it, I would say it's just mental. If you put 3 whoop sections in the track and he had 2 good days, he could completely turn things around.
How does that mindset translate for you on the international level, at 6 days, where you're pulling up against Italy, France? Actually, I'm forgetting who's taken it the past few years. Has it improved though since 2019 with you guys winning it? Did you guys notice a boost in confidence among the entire trophy team?
Yeah, I think the U.S. for years was never the team. Nobody would ever put us in that position to where, we were lucky if somebody wanted to pick us for a podium. Most likely we weren't going to get it. And then with the changes and the full gas formats and some of the other sprints coming in the U.S., it changed the intensity level to where we could ride some with a little more intensity rather than just the 2 and 3 hour races.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to compete over there, but you still line up and you look at these guys. I mean, guys that are multi-time world champions, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Like my first really good year, I want to say was 2019. I ended up 4th overall for the week, which was unreal for me. And
on a 500, right?
Most of us guys weren't able to do it, but I can remember looking over and seeing like, okay, well, there's Sanders, there's Milner, there's the guys behind me. Even you're looking back and saying, I'm beating guys that I would have never thought that there would ever be a chance. And it is different. Like that intensity is different because you're not racing head to head. That's a timed event. So that side of it, it's more just like, don't make a mistake because you don't want to get passed by the guy that's 10 seconds behind you.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. That was on a 500 too. You 4th overall, right? Which is a feat in itself on its own.
Favorite ride.
Yeah.
I hate that ride.
Yeah, I remember I was there in Portugal to see you guys do that, luckily enough, and I just remember you thumping around on that thing. I did not envy you all week long.
Yeah,
right.
that was an awful bike for me.
Hey,
it was fun to ride, terrible to race.
Sure.
Hey, I got a question for Ben over there since he is raced Supercross. This man is experienced Supercross rider. Ben, hey, going into Oakland this weekend, who are you going to put your money on? I mean, give us your podium.
And 450 class?
Yeah.
Oakland.
I mean, I'm a Webb fan, so I'm thinking it's gonna be Webb, Tomac, and Plessinger.
Oh,
nice.
Okay. You think Sexton's gonna hit the dirt again? Is that
Yeah,
why?
I mean, I would say so. He'll probably walk the front row.
Confident man right there. All right.
I can't disagree.
I think Webb will do good because Oakland normally is kind of a tighter track, so he always seems to do really well with that type of stuff.
All right.
Okay.
Stu, how about you? Give us your podium for Oakland this weekend.
It's tough because I'm a Webb fan. Like the guy's got heart. Like on a day that you think he's buried in the pack, like I love to see that determination. But Tomac this year is just on rails. Like I've got to put him first, Webb second. After Chase falls, he should get up somewhere around third.
Sounds about right.
It is so rough. We were just talking about this. It reminds me of when Tomac was clearly, the faster guy at most races, but just could never figure it out and just put a championship together against Dungey. Mm-hmm. It's like that's kind of what it reminds me of, and I'm sure Section's really tired of it. So
I'm sure he does not need to hear it from us.
I don't know. When Sexton gets in the lead, is he like to a point now where he thinks, okay, don't screw this up again?
Maybe
versus just racing? Is that why he mentally just screws himself?
Stu, is it just an experience thing? You just got to lead enough races to just get comfortable there? Is that as simple as it is?
Are we overthinking Sexton's whole crash thing right now?
To me, no. I mean, I went 4 years in XC1 before I won my first race. And once I won the first one, it was easy to run up front. And then once I strung a couple together, it was easy to win. I think he's at the point where it's easy to run up front. It's just not easy to win. And there's the difference in easy to win versus easy to run up front is the overwhelming pressure when you know who's coming behind you and one mistake is all it takes. And it's a reset thing. Like for me personally, if I make a big mistake and I lose a lot of time late in a race and it's coming down to the wire, it's very easy to get in your own mind and throw yourself off, where taking a breath and resetting and not having a continuation to that mistake is the best thing you can do. And I think Sexton's right now, he knows he's the fastest guy. He knows he's he should be winning, but it's still not easy because he doesn't know how to reset. He doesn't know, he hasn't been in the position enough times. And I mean, obviously the guy's led a lot of laps, so he's getting there, but the second pressure gets on him, he's got to learn how to ride smart and defensive, not just defensive and not just smart. Like it's a good mix of the two. And, you know, I brought up the lappers. Like, you watch him when late in a race, if they're in the lappers, you watch his lines, he stays on his lines. The problem is usually the fast line, everybody's in that line.
Right.
You kind of have to plan to be in a different line so that you don't make that mistake. And I think that's where like the detach is. And like I said, Tomac's lapped so many guys. Webb has lapped so many guys. And these guys that they're lapping, you know, like you just said, Christian Craig, like, they're lapping the best riders in the world. And these guys are fast, like on a practice track, are just as fast as these guys. And it's just being able to pick it apart mentally at a high rate of speed with somebody, the best rider on the world, right on your tail.
So AP Plessinger's in a easy to run up front stage, but has no idea what it's like to. Okay, so because I've been thinking like AP is going to click off a win sooner or later, but I think you're right. I think once he gets in the lead, it is a completely different ball game than running in third or second place. Like I think it's two different races. It's two different mind strengths to run up front and lead a race and win it.
Definitely. Got to execute.
Like for me personally, I notice when I get in the front, the best thing for me to do is try to drop the field. Like, I try to make my move at a section on the track where I know I'm faster than somebody so that I can get a little bit of a cushion, because if the pressure is not as aggressive, you're not as prone to make a mistake. If you start thinking about the guy behind you, which is easy to do, that's why I try to make my moves at the right time. Like, that's how you start winning races. Like, when you see somebody like Webb or Tomac just out of the blue turn it on and gap somebody, like, they're not going to race them more than 2 or 3 turns, and then they're going to put time on them. It's easy. They know when to make that break, get away, and they can control the race at that point with a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think I can't remember if it was Blair or somebody talked about it, where in last week's race, Sexton, after 3 or 4 laps, he did not get away from Coop. And I think Coop knew at that point, it's like, dude, we're 3 or 4 minutes in. You're not leaving. Like, I've got you right where I want you. And I think Sexton just like that, he's probably thinking like, dude, I can't drop this guy. And then you start to think about, okay, when's he going to make his move? Where's he going to make his move? Then you're doing with lappers. So I think that was just all part of Webb's, just like you were saying, that guy's mental game is, I think, better than anybody else's.
Absolutely.
And it's pretty wild. So I like it.
Super cool to hear how just off-road relates to even Supercross and motocross. Obviously, the obstacles are different. Just the entire format's different, but there's definitely some similarities, and that's super cool to compare.
Well, look, Stewart and Ben. Sorry. I just say you guys are driving right now to is it the first race of the year?
It's the first GNCC, so it's the first big one. We've had the first National Enduro, but this is the big show.
Maybe I don't know if you have any ties, and maybe you can't answer this, but I wanted to ask what your preference was. Do you have what's your favorite series over there? Is it the GNCC stuff, or do you think the Enduros you can have a little bit more fun? I
personally enjoy the National Enduro format. Like, the GNCC is where you make your money. There's a lot more to do in the GNCC parking lot, but the National Enduros are just fun. It's home for me. Like, it's you get to travel a lot more. You get to see more of the country and ride places that, Turkey, Texas, or Upper Peninsula, Michigan, places that you've never seen, and you get to spend a little bit of time on the road. So I personally enjoy that. I know a lot of people don't, but for me, that's, like I said, home.
Would you ever, if the opportunity was given, travel out west, take on Works, or maybe even a Hare and Hound? Has that ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think that stuff would be fun to try. I'm getting to the point in my career where I know I've got more behind me than in front of me. So, it's a place where I would love to go and try something different, and see some different terrain. And I've been able to ride out there when I rode for the factory team, and it's definitely different. But racing, I don't know how it would be. I mean, obviously we've traveled the world racing, and every place is so unique. So I'd love to have the opportunity at some point.
That would be awesome to see out here. But anyways, we know you guys are busy. Got some training to do and, well, just racing to do,
some
actually.
some
racing to do. So thank you so much for your time. Very excited to see you guys. We're just excited for the entire team this year in GNCC.
Yep.
But, yeah, thank you again for tuning in. Travel safe, ride safe, and, yeah, thank you guys.
All right, sounds good. See you guys.
Awesome.
All right, boys. Good luck this weekend. See ya.
See ya.
What a good guy.
The classic.
If anybody, you just got to go Google Steward Baylor and see. He always, what I love is every time he wins, he does it. He loops his bike out.
Oh,
I'm sure the bike companies don't love it. But.
Super fun to watch on and off the track.
Super down to earth guy.
Yep,
I went to the
dude.
GNCC banquet last year, and it is a different group of people.
Yeah.
If you're on the West Coast, you've never been to the East Coast. There is not a more contrasting group of people that all ride dirt bikes.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting.
No, it's him, his brother, that whole crew. They're all super good dudes.
Yep.
Even I've had the opportunity to hang out and meet them at like the ISDE and such, and even under intense pressure, they're super welcoming, like down to answer questions. So
yes, sir.
Awesome to get some insight too from a top guy in the off-road. It's just interesting to see how
it's cool to see
similar.
Ben, who's also racing the XC1 class, the pro class. He was a Supercross racer and switched over to GNCC off-road stuff, so it's cool.
Moving on to some other big topics, I guess.
Look at
Thank you
that.
again to Stu and Ben. But
this poll right here,
yeah,
I'm on board with that. I don't know. I think the probation thing is, unless there's something else going on that maybe we're not catching on camera, I thought I was a little surprised to see that they put Anderson on probation. Who's our next rider?
Yeah, yes, he's done it a lot, but that didn't feel like what's the saying? The straw that broke the camel's back, whatever.
Yeah.
That did not seem like it didn't seem warranted from that pass specifically.
No.
If he had left, like just, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it was warranted.
What was it before this one? I mean, obviously him and Barsha had their run-in, which we never saw.
Cooper he was bumping shoulders with Cooper. He left him on the dirt once. One other time he just kind of
that was kind of like just cut down and Coop's rear wheel clipped his. I didn't
There's
see
other
anything
people
wrong
doing
with it.
that exact same thing.
So I don't know. But let's be honest.
He could put his milk in his cereal bowl first, and the AMA would probably.
I know,
give him
but
probation.
here's the deal though.
Thanks, Levi.
He took out Chase. I don't remember when, but I believe it. Here's the thing, though. And Anderson's not going to deny this. He has a target on his back with the AMA.
Oh, yeah.
He has been openly verbal, criticizing the AMA.
Mm-hmm.
They probably, when you're under the radar, anything you do is going to be compounded. So it doesn't surprise me when it's like, well, I'm not surprised. I don't agree with it, but I'm not surprised that he is under the radar of the AMA right
I'm
now.
not surprised either, but it's just, I don't know. I don't find it fair that he would have to change, unless it was getting too dirty, but I just don't feel like it's to that point. I don't feel like he should have to change his racing style.
No.
Just because he's got this target on his back, just because they want to give him more attention than others, especially when you have the exact same, if not worse, with Barsha going out and doing the same thing. Don't get me wrong. He's cleaned it up this year.
Here's what I want. I feel that the AMA, if they're going to put probation on a rider, they need to have a public statement saying Anderson has done X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
These are the reasons why he is on probation, because this is what we have seen him do. Not just like, oh, Anderson's on probation. You're just like,
It's a mystery.
for what? Like, we don't know. Like, give us a public statement. Show us the evidence. In any other sport, they're going to say, hey, you're on probation and because he's done X, Y, Z, right?
I couldn't
Versus just assuming, like, guess that pass was too aggressive.
You can't even, or I wasn't able to find details on what the probation even includes. My guess is that it's his final warning, and if he continues to do what he's doing, that then he's going to start losing points, yada, yada. But I don't think he has yet. But, yeah, it's super sus, for lack of a better word, and I'm not a huge fan of that.
Okay.
Of that decision.
All right,
Definitely not.
Let's
and
talk
it's not
about
just because I have Team Fried on my leg.
That's very true. Let's just talk about stats here. He won round 2 in Oakland last year. So in Oakland, he's gone 1-5-1-4-4. So he has a very good record in Oakland. I don't know if probation hurts him or doesn't. I have no idea.
Well, that's what Dr. JB says right here. He says he needs probation to help him focus on the championship, and it very well could.
Look at this picture in the graph. Look at his rear tire. That thing's on
much
the
it's
rim,
folding.
bro. That
Yeah.
thing is folded.
Yeah, that's these bikes. Just
Do
the
they
limits
run
they're pushing
mooses?
them
Do
to.
they run mooses?
Not in Supercross.
How are they
There's
not
a few of them
pinching
that'll
tubes
run them
more
in
often,
outdoors,
dude?
but
Holy
I
crap.
doubt it in Supercross. You need to have a bit of
Jeez.
traction you can get.
His starts are not that great. Look, his average is 6.43 after lap 1. So his starts last year, I feel like, were a lot better.
Yeah.
And his average lap position on lap 5, 10, and 15 are all 5th best.
And last week didn't help because it was before the finish on that first lap that he took Barcia out. So it really hurt his starting average.
He's worse. He's doing worse in the second half of the races than he is in the beginning. We all know he has speed to win. All right, Cooper Webb.
I want to see him clean it up super bad.
What are you doing with Webb this weekend, dude?
So I gotta admit.
Got any plans?
So I come here and I put my picks in and I look and I forgot Cooper Webb. I was feeling pretty good and I had forgot Cooper Webb, but I went back. He's got to be in there. I've got him in third for this week. He still has something to prove, I guess, before he's gonna consistently start winning for me. But yeah, I've definitely got him in the top 3.
Well, look, he's only led 5 laps to Tomac and Sexton's like 50.
And assuming Tomac does bounce back and was sick, whatever, is back to his normal ways, I just don't think Webb has anything for him still.
I'm trying to remember who it was. Someone in here said Tomac bounced back from the flu. There's still no confirmation of that, so I don't know.
I sure hope so. It makes sense. But Webb definitely should be in your top 5. He hasn't finished outside all year.
Yeah, the only thing, it's like he's only led 5 laps. Despite his qualifying heat, he came back to win last week. So this will be, again, a track. So Webb, I think, in his heat last week got it was 6 or 7. It wasn't very good. And I just feel like
that.
Yeah, and I just feel like this track, with the start being the way it is, you can't afford, I'm going to look right now, you just can't afford to be that far back. Because think about it, if you get 3rd in your heat this weekend, you potentially have 6th gate pick.
Exactly. Yeah.
He was
Qualifying is no joke. And
6th in his heat race.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Wow. It's a little concerning. It is interesting just on paper, though. His average finish, he passed Tomac.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a better average finish. Here's something interesting, though. In 2019 and 2021 combined, after he got his first win in round 3 on both of those years, he only finished off the box 4 times total.
You think
So
he
in
keeps that alive?
28 races total, after he got his first win, he only had 4 races where he finished off the box.
That's all it took.
Once he gets his mojo going and he gets that win, Coop is a podium machine. I think we looked at the stat. I think it was only Dungey that had more podiums in that same amount of races as Webb did when he won his title.
That's crazy.
Mr.
Dungey,
on the box.
Yeah, Dungey was known for that or is known for that.
Well, if you think about it, Webb doesn't make many mistakes.
No, he's a top 3 guy. I could absolutely see that.
I'm just saying, you should put this guy on your box. His podium percentage is ridiculous.
I just don't know if I can consistently put him in the top as far as the number
on the box,
the number 1 spot. He's
definitely the all-out raw speed. He's not going to beat Tomac and Sexton, but he's going to. Well, I take that back. He just beat Tomac. Okay.
Supercross is hard. Next up, we've got
Roxon.
Spoilers. So we're getting into our spoilers with Roxon.
I don't know, man.
He's not doing bad.
He's
not doing
one,
great. Roxon's just kind of there.
He's a good spoiler.
Yeah, he's a great spoiler. He's great for your top 5.
Look, he's gone 5, 4, 3, 8, 4. He's only been outside the top 5 once. And if you look at his average lap position, he's starting and finishing within 1 spot. So he's starting right around. As average finish 4.29, average start 5.29, and if you look at where he's at in the races on lap 5, 10, 15, 20, he's within 1 position of both of those stats right there. So
consistent.
He's a 4th and 5th place guy all day long.
I put Roxon on top, ahead of Barcia every single weekend.
Well, Barcia's just more sporadic, right? Yeah. Kenny's been solid. Yep. I was a little weary of Barcia at first, but now I'm just like, no, dude, put this guy in there.
You mean Roxon?
Or Roxon, yeah. Let's get to AP, though.
Okay.
Gosh.
This guy, it's just impossible not to be rooting for him.
I know.
He's making it only easier by he's trending up with his finishes.
Beta 2-stroke, I know. But I say...
What is beta 2-stroke?
Well, he just said funny how Roxon's considered a spoiler now. I don't know. It's just because he's not like a title contender.
Yeah, that's what our top contenders towards Roxon, absolutely.
Call it like it is. I'm just
Until
saying.
he hasn't led a lap, Beta 2-stroke. How do you put him in a top contender?
That's true.
Yeah,
Anderson's led laps. No, has he? Has Anderson led a lap this year?
In a main?
Yeah.
I don't know. Besides Triple Crown?
Hey, Levi, pull up that chart real quick. We haven't even shown it yet.
Oh, yeah, we need a rewind.
Pull this up real quick.
Courtesy of Dr. JB.
Yes, this is how I fact check myself. Right here is Dr. JB's
That
chart.
Suzuki is a spoiler.
Where's Anderson? Let's see here. Laps led. He's led 18.
Okay. Yeah, why am I blanking?
Are those from the
this
Triple
must
Crown, or
This
where
must
did that-
have the Triple Crown in it.
Yeah, okay. But he's led 18 laps.
Yeah.
Okay. But look at that. His
Roxon
numbers.
is 0 along the board, so I'm not going to put him. I'm eating my words. Remember, I mean, this was 3 rounds back, but I was assuming Roxon would take a win before Jason. But
You know what's insane?
that's not the case.
Is Webb is only 4 points back, and he's led 5 laps. Tomac and Sexton both have 50 plus.
See, but he's just the new Dungey, like you were just mentioning.
I know.
I'm sure Dungey has some very, very similar
He'll just
stats.
podium you to death, dude. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
put the guy on the box.
But to beat a dead horse, like Sexton, if you give and take a couple of these stats, you would just assume he's the points leader if you didn't see.
You would assume that
Yeah.
because he's leading more categories than Tomac is. But hey, it's just the mistakes. Go back and look at Tomac versus Dungey. You would assume Tomac was the points leader and crushed everybody each time. But 3 years in a row, Dungey was the leader at the end of it, right?
Yep.
Okay. But anyway.
Shane Wilkerson.
Oh, what's
chiming
up,
in
dog?
here. AP7 for the win.
Easy.
Wow.
Easy.
Yeah, everybody
He's
go.
in the easy to run up front category. We're not in the easy to win
To
category
win.
yet.
That's a stretch.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, do it for Dale, said Byron. All right.
We didn't finish on Plessinger's stats. Let's give the man the credit he deserves.
Last week was his 3rd career 450 podium.
Mm-hmm.
His overall finishes this year, he's just gotten better and better. 8, 9, 7, 4, 3.
And whether he's just figuring stuff out over time, or maybe there's some conspiracy around which coast he's on, but his best finishes are all inside the top 5 on the East Coast, and the West they were all outside.
He
But
finished 2nd in Oakland last year.
last year, yeah,
Just saying. So
but that was the last time he was on the podium until this year.
yeah,
right?
but maybe he's one of those guys that
Yeah.
gets a good. He
Hey,
gets a tingle
I'm
when
just
he's in
playing-
his state. He was
I'm
done
just
good.
playing devil's advocate. I'm putting Plessinger in my top 5.
You should,
Yep.
because look, his last 2 starts have been 2 and 3, and he's gone 2-2 in his last 2 heats. So AP is a guy where maybe ignores qualifying. Although, like I said, this week's qualifying. Here's the good news, though. Here's something you have to remember. Even if you qualify 8th, there's 2 heats. It's not just 1 gate drop. So it's not like he's getting
Fair
8th
enough.
gate pick. He's
Yeah.
getting 4th.
Fair enough.
So it's not the worst. It's not the worst. Okay.
But if he's outside that top 10 or something, I will be concerned in qualifying. Anyway, okay, Barsha. We mentioned his name a few times. Let's get some of his stats.
So do you put AP above Roxon, though? Like if you're putting those 2 head-to-head?
I do. I
Because
think
Kenny's more
I think-
consistent top 5. AP's just on a roll.
Yeah, but I just if I see AP behind Roxon, I think he's chasing him down.
Okay.
And putting the move.
I
on
like
him.
that. Who we got up next?
Barsha.
Barsha.
I mean, dude, you look at this guy's stats. Does he even belong in the top 5? Not this year.
He's only done it once.
He's done it once this year.
He's got a podium, and
Yep.
he's gone 8-6-8. A little help from Anderson, taking him out last week. So last year he had 5 thirds and 5 fifths, and 1 second and no fourths. So he's either 3rd or 5th, I guess. If you're going to put him in your top 5, like you're kind of taking a gamble on Barsha because his starts have been kind of sporadic. Look, his average start's not good.
No.
It's only been 9.14. Average finish is almost 8. He's not qualifying good.
Barsha's one. I'm not willing to risk it. But if you're trying to make up some points, he very well could be.
And he's not making up spots at the end of races
No.
because his average lap position is the same from 15 to 20.
Not pushing. No.
Barsha's
Hard
out
charger at
on
the
me.
end.
It's
Yeah,
like
I'm in the same
Barsha's
boat.
one of those riders where if he gets a top 5 and you don't get points for him, you're gonna be like,
That's
what am
yeah.
I gonna do?
Yep. I just didn't know how to put
Versus
that into
just
words. But I feel the
versus
same.
riders where you're like, dude, why didn't I have that guy in my top 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then some other riders that are maybe noteworthy about talking about as far as spoilers go.
Cooper.
Jay Coop. Yeah, well, we don't have confirmation
Yeah.
that Justin Cooper is racing this weekend.
But assuming he does, man has
He's
done
trending.
well.
He's
Yeah,
trending.
He's done well in the couple races he's done. Has finished 7th in both of them. So not top 5. He's more of an honorable mention.
Hey,
But-
he's gone 7-7. He's been 7th in both his heats. Start to the season.
He's
start to
just
season
finished 7th in
13-5.
every single 450 gate drop
Dude,
this year.
Okay.
All 4.
Stewart talked about how there's like levels, right? I feel like there's a winning level, there's a top 5 level. No, there's a winning level, there's a podium level, there's a top 5 level,
There's a top 10
and then
level.
there's a 5th to 10th level. Like he's in the 5th. He's in like
He's with the AC.
the AC,
He's
the
with-
7th, the 6th, 7th,
Yep,
10th level.
Absolutely.
So it's another step.
And
to get
our
into the
wild
top
card
5.
is 15th. So I even if Cooper's racing this weekend, I don't think he's.
You know who's not
needs to be
stoked
in
that
picks.
Coop's beating him is Christian Craig.
Oh, heck no. No
I'm
way.
I gotta hit up Christian
Yeah.
to get him to call into the show and to not make it. I don't want to be like, dude. So tell us how much the mental struggle's been. But
He already has enough of that.
I know. But I'm just curious to know. Like, I've been watching his vlogs. He's been pretty transparent in those, talking
I'm
about
sure
his
he's
frustration.
frustrated, and we all know he's got the speed. Maybe he hates to admit that he is a rookie. He just doesn't feel like he actually is. And I mean, for a 450, no, but for 450 Supercross, yeah, he's a rookie. And I don't know. I think he's beating himself up too much.
Mason Morris just came through and said Jay Coop posted he isn't racing.
Good to know. Thank you, Mason.
Let's see here. Jesse asked a question. Somebody. I
Nate,
don't know.
what is confusing?
Yes, and Jesse. I don't know. All right. Okay. Yeah.
He's in denial.
What is confusing? Who's in denial?
Yeah, either Christian or us. Let's move on to Wildcard, though, which is 15th. First guy we've got here. Did you see? I got a plate for him. Poor
Did
guy got
you?
neglected.
My
but,
boy, my man.
Figured out. Wilson just shook it up with the Wildcard last week, which
Probably 'cause-
last week he did land in 15th.
Probably because his drill instructor's been yelling at him.
No kidding. It's just in the back of his brain.
He said he's been getting bad arm pump, which poor guy, because he even had that arm pump surgery done, and he said
Doesn't
last week he was moving forward. I think he was in like 8th before he grenaded and then faded back.
The Terminator in Supercross. His overall finishes are around that spot though. And I've said it a couple weekends or a couple weeks with the wild card. It's obviously somewhat of a guessing game. It's hard to get.
I mean, stats don't lie, dude. We've been pretty good this year with it. I mean, if you got 14, 3rd, 12, I mean, come on now.
He is around that spot, but all it's going to take is some mishap in the last 5 laps of the race, just
It
like
is.
last week.
And
I don't see him being a 15th place guy unless something happens.
But
is what
that's
I'm
just
saying.
because you like Wilson.
Oh, you
And
think
you
that's coming from
I
the
think
heart?
your emotions are getting in the way of
It could
results.
be.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
I guess when
mean,
I see these numbers, because when you first say Wilson, I think, oh, he's around 10th, right?
Yeah.
But his best finish this year is 12th,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I don't know. I mean, he's not going to be my wild card.
I guess that's the biggest point I was trying to get at is he's up for consideration, but he's definitely not my first
See, I've
pick
done
for
that with
the wild card.
McElrath, though, where I've put McElrath in like 12th or 13th for wild card. I'm like, oh, like he could do it.
Could do
and then
it.
he just
doesn't
doesn't.
qualify.
Yeah, and I'm just like, that I should have listened to the numbers.
So this is my pick again, and if he lets me down, I don't know. He didn't necessarily.
The
let
Hill
me
brothers
down.
are coming through for us.
I love it. I just love to watch them race dirt bikes, ride dirt bikes, period. But Justin Hill's probably my number 1 pick. He's qualified either 13th or 14th, 4 out of 5 rounds. So he's right in that spot.
his
overall
finishes.
finishes, 15th, 13th, read them off, but that averages at 15th, our wild card. Has finished within 2 spots from where he's qualified this season in every round but Houston. So just make sure that he's around that spot.
That's a good one.
Yep. Make sure he's around that spot in qualifying.
Okay.
And he hasn't been doing LCQ, so he should be in there fighting for it. 15th is hard because it's there in the back, and it very well could be somebody.
Dude, it could be a Justin Starling or a Kevin
exactly
Morant.
somebody who is
Okay.
fighting for qualifying.
Jay Coop, 15th in points. All right. Ferrandis, he's not racing. I haven't heard anything.
Top spoiler pick. The people are saying AP, and I have to agree.
All right. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, give him another top 5, like another podium, and it's like don't even know if you put him in as a spoiler anymore because
Yeah.
we're only a few rounds away to where you get that solid
Maybe that's what it takes.
4 dudes.
Did you? I don't know if you noticed when you were watching the show. I actually bumped Webb down 2 spoilers as opposed to top contenders. Then he comes out and wins. So
Yeah.
maybe that's all it's going to take. Because he's like he's watching fantasy SXperts and going.
Maybe we
"No,
need to
I'm
have
gonna
like
prove these
spoiler
guys
for
wrong."
the podium versus top 5.
Interesting.
Okay, Shane McElrath here. His average finish is just behind the wild card. Let's see. Overall finishes, he's gone 16, 16, 15, 17. Finished behind where he qualified for the first time last weekend.
Do you like my crude Photoshop job? Poor guy. We don't have any legitimate headshots of him, but
I didn't even look at it until you saw my crew.
Ran out of time.
That is so bad.
Hey,
He's used to it.
I know. This is not the first time that Rocky Mountain has had a terrible Photoshop job.
Hey, the first one was
guy.
not us.
No, it was not. But hey, we don't have a headshot of him. I want him. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. You're looking at these stats. He is actually probably as good of a pick or better than Justin Hill.
Again, but he's one of those guys where your heart is like, no, like Shane's better than 15th.
His best finish is 15th.
Stats don't lie, bro. Stats
Failed
don't lie.
to qualify, I believe, at A1 too.
I almost feel like Shane, and I hate to say this, I wonder if his whole pay, and everyone wants to do good, but I almost wonder if his pay is just based off him making night shows. So he gets into that comfort zone back there and just kind of rides.
I made my money. I'm going to chill.
Hey, it's just a thought, okay?
Maybe.
I'm not saying that. I don't know. But hey, Christian Craig just won a title last year dominating 250s, and here he is getting lapped in 10th place. So maybe 15th. I just don't think we give enough credit to how gnarly this field is.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Sexton,
eat my words.
Sexton was in a bit of a similar belt. Remember, Sexton and McElrath went head-to-head for a championship.
And I know.
Years ago.
I texted Chase this week to get him to call in, and
What is it? You think he's busy or something?
He ghosted me. We're gonna get him on the show though. We've talked. He knows we want him to call in. But
one day.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. That's a question I have for Chase is what was the flip that switched? Because you were never the guy in amateurs. What?
The flip that switched?
Did I say it backwards?
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
switch that flipped.
Very, very
he was
sorry.
never the guy in amateurs. He was always behind in the shadow of Faulkner and some other dudes. And then when he was racing Faulkner, Faulkner was the faster guy, but would crash, right?
That's a good question.
His first title, everyone's like, oh, you won because Faulkner crashed out. His second title, he won 250s. But then nobody had Chase Sexton pegged to go to 450s and then all of a sudden just jump up and be the guy that could battle
competing
Tomac.
against a legend, yeah.
So I just want to know, like, what changed? Because I feel like mentally it had to have been something, right?
Absolutely. I don't know what that something is. If it's maybe it's a trainer. Maybe it's something you can. I don't know. Maybe it was a feeling. Maybe
because Tomac. Because Sexton won 250 titles, but he wasn't dominant. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Tomac, Villapoto, Dungey, RC, Stewart. Those guys all dominated 250s
through and through
before moving up, but Sexton just doesn't seem like he was quite in that group. Don't want to talk too much about it. We'll get into that.
Yeah, I really hope we can get him on and ask him these things and get some answers. We got one last recommendation. This is tribute to Christian. Christian is a big fan of Kyle Chisholm.
he's gone 17, 17, 19, Christian.
But his top point here is Chiz always has a chance. So
Chiz gonna chiz.
Tribute to Christian. If you want to follow his footsteps, maybe throw Kyle in there.
What did he say?
He hasn't started better than 18th yet this season.
I don't see him up there. I think Hill and McElrath are probably your best bets.
Who is Christian?
How's this poll doing?
Other than Trey Kennard, there's one other rider I'm trying to think of that Christian just would cry if he met him. It's a privateer. I'm trying to remember his name.
You already said, Kennard, Chiz.
There's one other guy that Christian is just fanboy of.
When's his birthday? Let's set up some connections.
Do you get more points the earlier you lock in your picks? My husband tried to tell me that, and I think he's just trying to throw me off. He is throwing you off because
Thanks for
it doesn't matter.
Nicole. No, it does not matter. Unless the only time it matters is the earlier timestamp when you're competing for weekly prizes. Yeah. The earlier timestamp, in the case of a tie, the winner will go to the person with the earlier timestamp.
You sound like you did my how to play video.
Hey.
You did edit it.
I did edit it many times.
Okay, yeah. So if you want a weekly prize, it's literally get your picks in on Sunday morning and then do not change them the whole week. If you change them once, you're not going to win a weekly prize.
Which at this point,
unless
Nicole,
you get a perfect score or something, maybe.
Yeah. But at this point, Nicole, if you haven't already figured it out, there is that how to play video on the website to give you all the other info if you have any other questions. Or you can ask them here. We're happy to answer them here.
All right.
But that's about it for our stats, and that's about it as far as time. What else do you got that you want to get through?
No, I feel good. We had Stewart call in.
Great call.
We had some good stats on riders, and the wild card is going to be. Jesse Trauma says Kiefer said Suzuki has a new bike coming this year. I knew it. If that is true, then this whole thing with Kenny is brilliant on Suzuki's end to say,
just to get some.
Pay Kenny what he wants. Because when 24 rolls around, if you got a new bike coming out, who more would you want than Kenny or a Tomac to flagship your new bike?
Good point.
Oh, we got to lock in the picks, dude.
I was going to say. Yep,
I don't think I've made mine, dude. I've been so busy with the new baby. You do yours.
Oh, what do you think? That takes time?
Okay.
Just kidding. Okay, I will occupy the people with my picks in the meantime with our very organized plates. So I think I mentioned it earlier. I'm assuming Tomac's going to bounce back. Unless I see something super fishy in qualifying, I'm running with the number 1. After that, wow, man, we made a mess.
I'm not even going to get the plates out.
We got Anderson in second. Well, are they really going to be that far off from mine? You can just use the same plates. Webb in third. Plessinger in fourth. And I've got Chase all the way in fifth. And I do have to be honest with you guys. Come qualifying, I've moved some stuff around. But last weekend and last weekend, yes, I was wrong.
Is Hill your spoiler or your wild card?
Hill is my wild card.
So are you assuming that
Sexton does it again? That he goes down?
Okay.
And that these two capitalize on it. Man, how would it be to put Anderson up here? But that's my pick.
Not until he does it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I just did mine. I'm going to go Tomac, Webb, Sexton, Anderson.
Okay.
And then Plessinger fifth. And then I'm going to do Justin Hill's my wild card as well.
So the guy, neither of us got this guy in there. It's hard, man.
Here's the thing, though. And this is kind of one of those gambles, right? If Anderson doesn't hit the deck, he beats Kenny straight up any race.
Yep.
Like Anderson last weekend went from dead last to, sixth?
He was a hard charger without a doubt.
So my opinion, I just feel like
okay.
Pending Anderson going down, maybe this whole probation thing changes things. He's going to beat Kenny straight up. I think he beats AP straight up, but I think AP beats Kenny straight up.
One more point I want to bring up is our very old Jared. Man, he's gonna be bummed I'm leaking his secrets. He is leading many groups that I'm in right now, but he's leading our RMFantasy SX.
Oh, this is our head, one of our big marketing guys here.
His strategy this year has just been to put people where their average finishes. And he is leading our RMFantasy SXperts group with 310 points right now.
Which means that the average finisher that should be in first, you put in fifth. That's a horrible strategy. That's
exactly, yeah. That's
and he is killing
contradicting
us.
myself, but I'm trying to make up points is my strategy.
Okay,
but just something to keep in mind. Do you have access to our stats sheet real quick? I want to tell the people what that order would be.
Well, just go to I can tell you right now what the average finish. Is that what you want to know?
I believe that's what he went on, and Jared's gonna be fired up that I just revealed his secret.
Okay, average
this year's strategy for him would be
per gate drop
was Sexton.
Hold on here. Finish, sort, smallest to largest. Okay, here we go. It would be Sexton, Webb. Okay, and this is including Triple Crowns. Sexton, Webb, Tomac, Roxon, Anderson.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep Hill there because his average is in that spot.
Yeah, is Hill
He's the 15th.
Yeah.
If you're removing
15
Stewart,
on
if you remove
money.
the injuries, yeah.
Okay, so if you want to follow all the strategy, this should be your top 5 right
I gotta
here.
admit,
that's a good top 5.
It's a good top 5, and you're at the very least gonna get, the 2 spots off, probably 10 or 5 points for 2 spots off.
Yeah, but if you get 2 or 3 picks right in every given weekend, you're going to crush it.
It's going to add up. So
I kind of like that strategy.
I do too. I'm back here going, this is looking a little appetizing. Okay. But just something to keep in mind. Sorry to blow your secret, Jared, but we need all the help we can get. He's the true SX expert this year.
He can't win a grand prize anyway because he works here.
So give it to somebody who can take advantage of it.
Hey, don't forget, link to the Discord is in the description of this video. Come Monday, we're giving away some prizes for meme submissions, so make sure.
Monday? I believe we had Thursday, but let's just clarify it.
Dude,
Let's do Monday.
We're an hour and 10 into this, and we haven't even looked at him yet. You want to do Monday?
No. Yeah. You
like
tell
next
me.
Thursday?
I think last show we said we're going to choose a meme winner on Thursday. I just want to keep it consistent, but what's your preference? Let's build them up. There hasn't been too much in there, so you guys go cook up some more, and a week from today, Thursday, let's pick a winner, give away some more MSR
and we'll
gear.
backtrack. We'll go all the way back to before the show. We're not going to do just today through next week, so if you got a banger in there, we'll check it out. But we'll do I hate the Saturdays are 6 days away from each other. Wouldn't that be 7?
I think so.
Okay. Anyway.
Don't hurt his feelings. Again, if you won or if you entered for that ticket giveaway in the comment section on last show, please go check and see if you are a winner. We will be reselecting winners if the 4 people that haven't responded continue not to. But that's it. It's been a long show. It's been a great show. Shout out Stu and Ben one more time.
Yep. Yes, there we go. Quick recap. Here's the weekly prizes. You can see them up on the screen.
And don't forget the grand prizes.
Throw them up there, Levi.
As well. Again, these bikes are looking good. They're only going to look better.
Absolutely.
And Jared can't take it. So take his strategy and maybe get yourself a fresh dirt bike.
Look at that. We are 2 days, 4 hours, 52 minutes, and 22 seconds away from gate drop.
Close. And I am pumped.
All right.
What else we got? Oh, yeah. There he is. The proof's in the pudding. No picks are good enough. That is our boy Jared.
310.
Shout out to the whole RMFantasy SX group. If you see your name up there and you watch this show, please let us know. I imagine the weekly winners will have more points than last week. Let's just all have a better week on points than last week.
Maybe instead of just doing them like in order, but you at least have like the top 3 finishing averages. Make sure those guys are on your podium.
Yep, absolutely. Makes sense. Okay, thank you everybody again. For more SXperts stuff and your meme submissions that we talked about earlier, link to the Discord is down below. Make sure to join that. But that is all for me. Thank you for tuning in.
That's all I got. We'll see you guys on Monday after some killer racing.
Good luck.